Am I doing research on social media or am I addicted? And let's be real, this shit is addicting. It's addicting. We all want to stay on there. We want to see what's new, what's coming up, what happened. Because I'll go into this hole, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, where you're investigating, you're seeing, okay, what works, what doesn't work, and then maybe something catches your eyes, you're watching it for a second, and then next thing you know, you're in it for half an hour. And I often think, is this original to my creation, or am I just going to copy what someone else is doing and put a spin on it? And I don't think necessarily that's a bad thing, but at the same time, because of how saturated and noisy social media is, I think it may be hurting you more than helping. I'm going to dive deeper into this for you because I feel like this is a critical component of building a business or a product that you're selling, or even a social media channel you're trying to build. And what has happened is that everyone is doing the same thing other people are doing if they see they're getting high engagement or a large following. But that's also why things are changing so rapidly on social media. That's why you can't catch the pattern of what's coming next. There's predictions of what's coming, but no one really knows. What we do know is that originality is defined by something new that someone hasn't seen before. And if you're looking to social media or YouTube and you're diving in and you're spending hours to intake information, the question you have to ask yourself, that I ask myself, is, am I learning from this to do something creative and unique, or am I planning to just copy this because I want to take the easy way out? Now, of course, you could take what someone's doing and do it better. That's always, I feel like that's a part of business anyways. Everything already exists, and what people are doing is taking what's working and then reshaping it with a new design or function. So that can work, but it's not necessarily what I'm referring to. What I'm talking about is building your own personality channel tied to your business or to your product. Here's an example. I like to run. I run on trails. I run on the sidewalks, and it's something I've incorporated into my daily lifestyle, but I haven't shaped it into a business or product. But I've thought about what would happen if I took a remote mic and talked into the camera while I was running about business. It may sound stupid, but I haven't seen anyone doing that. What kind of engagement would that get, right? At the very least, people will watch and see, why is he doing that? But that's how it starts. That's how it always starts, grabbing someone's attention. And so if you're spending time on social media and you're doing this research, right? Pay attention to what stands out and why it stands out. Ignore the copycats. Ignore trying to look at something and then decide, I'm just going to do that, but a little different. Instead, look at what you're doing. That's what I mean. Look at what you're already doing in life and see how can you plug that into your business or product. The more time you spend on social media and YouTube doing research, right? As long as you're truthful to yourself, the more time you're going to end up burning because you're trying to learn, which isn't a bad thing. That's actually something I would advocate for. But learn enough to take that and then incorporate that new knowledge into something unique that you already do that you can tie into your business or product. Because on the flip side is you'll get overwhelmed with how many different tactics and strategies there are, and then just end up copying others and putting a slightly different spin. And hey, I just want to be transparent. That may work. It's worked for a lot of people, but that's not the way out where you get this sense of freedom, where you don't feel like you're constantly dragging and having to see what's coming next. If you are the original creator of whatever it is that you're trying to do, or whatever it is that you already do that you can incorporate. I wouldn't define this necessarily as an artist, but that's why artists, the majority of them, stand out. Because what they do for the most part is one of one and unique to them. And that's what you're trying to do. That's why you're looking into these different social media channels and spending so much time. But that time can be spent on doing something you already do and bringing that in and just focusing on that and then trying it out. You may already know this, but these social media channels with billions of dollars behind them, they're built to keep you in their space, in that domain. So you're going to be thinking to yourself, oh, I'm learning more. Let me look at this. Let me watch that. Let me see what this person's doing. and your intention is to actually do the research, but you're going to get pulled in more because that's why it's designed. That's why this works in general. This is social media's form of marketing back to you for you to stay on their channels. I think the best way to look at this is how can you set time where it's a block where you just spend on social media and just do research rather than doom scrolling and then just getting caught up in something. Spend 1 hour, get that knowledge, and then get out. Of course, you have to get back on there if you want to post something, but don't try to entrap yourself and then tell yourself you're doing research, because that's where it becomes hazy. And let's be real, this shit is addicting. It's addicting. We all want to stay on there. We want to see what's new, what's coming up, what happened. But you're trying to build. You don't have time for that. You want to just get in, get what you need, and get out. Don't give yourself the excuse of, oh, I need to learn how to do a carousel and there's some more ideas. Just be you. Because let me tell you something. If you are original, where you're not looking anywhere else and you just pick up the phone and you start recording, whatever it is, whether it's for YouTube or social media, and you have no knowledge, what's going to happen is that you're going to just start to organically identify what's working and what's not. And you're going to start pivoting around that, right? So taking in new knowledge is great, but it can dilute your creative brain. I'll give you another example. This example applies to many different creators, but the example is something you already know. If you look at who you follow for whatever reason that has high engagement with whatever they're doing, business, product, influencer, YouTube channel, doesn't matter, you will notice that no two are the same. They all have their unique style. And then anyone that tries to come along and copy them, they may get some growth, but it's not going to be substantial because they're just number two. Do you see what I'm saying? And I can almost guarantee those people with that kind of following and engagement, they're not absorbing more knowledge on social media on how to grow their business or channel. They may watch a video here or there. They're mostly, if I had to guess, spending their time in books, but they're not spending heavy duty time on social media. They don't have time for it. They need that time to build their own thing. So be careful of those lines you draw for yourself of what's research and what's addiction, and just take that time and get back to work. Build what you came there to get information for, get the information, and then get back to work. Allow your brain to get creative. That's what it does. If you allow the time, it will come. There's a term called flow state, and it essentially means allowing your brain time to get into a creative state. And that time can be different for everybody. But when you give it that space, your brain will start to just automatically roll into whatever it is you're doing and dive deeper. Because if you're spending so much time on social media trying to learn more and more, you're going to disturb that process because your brain is focusing on something else versus doing what you need to do. And you may not even know it. You could end up just resetting what maybe your creative process was going to be. And you'll never know if that was going to work or not. So you just end up, without you even knowing it, resetting backwards and then trying to do something new based on something you saw. And that's kind of my point. If you want to spend that time learning online and taking that knowledge and then doing something with it, allow time to do that before you just sit there and just, because that's what's going to happen. They want you to stay in there. It's meant for that. So you're just going to go through and just thinking, oh, I'm getting more information, and you're ruining the creative process. That's what it's designed to do, to keep you in there. Take whatever information, get the hell out, go be creative, and then tomorrow, if you want to go back, then go back. But set limited time. Don't tell yourself you're doing research when you know you may not be, and you're just ending up wasting time on doing something productive that you are trying to build. Catch me on the next one.